Hello, welcome back to another video. We got some good old liberal hive mind. This is wild. Let's get into it.
I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
There's no shot he did that. That's so fucking cringe, man. If that was staged, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you spending your time doing stupid shit like this, man?
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left.
This is straight up fucking me. Me trying to remember the new password I just changed 5 seconds ago.
You know, one thing is becoming very evident. There is a gaping hole in the Democrat Party. We're currently seeing a leadership vacuum that's so massive that it can't be hidden anymore. It can't be ignored anymore. And it's funny because the Democrats are always going on and on trying to convince us that they're the party of credibility, right? Everybody I disagree with is utterly corrupt.
It's not just that Trump is corrupt, it's that everyone participating in this is corrupt. Elon is corrupt.
Bro, both sides are corrupt. Let's be real. Let's be fucking real. Both sides are ass nowadays. Like, it's just fucking garbage. And it sucks ass that there is a third party that we can like go to and whatnot. But it's sad that like literally our founding fathers warned us about a two-party system just inevitably going to shit and leading this country down the shitter.
Jeff Bezos is corrupt. Mark Zuckerberg is corrupt in participating.
It's quite odd because these are all names that they quite literally cheered for back in the day. Like, who remembers when Elon Musk was everyone's favorite entrepreneur because he was a Democrat when he was first rolling out his electric vehicles, saying that he would be the leading forefront of electric vehicles and getting us all to use electric vehicles and going fully electric. So much so that you quite literally had Nancy Pelosi eating up a lot of Tesla stock. But now that he's on the other side, he's corrupt, he's bad. In
this scheme that we all know, everyone's just trying to look the other way because who really cares, right? And it's this idea of cynicism. It's this idea that no one cares about.
Bro, you're quite literally. Weren't you advocating for illegal immigrants against John Homan? Well, isn't your most popular clip the one of John Homan literally putting you in your place and whatnot? When it came to like deporting illegals?
Fairness anyway.
Back when Biden was in office?
No one cares about the rules anyway, so who cares if we break them?
Everybody except for me is corrupt. Well, I find that interesting. You know, this notion that the Democrats are the only credible people in politics, it's kind of interesting to try to maintain that narrative when clearly they're going through a crisis of credibility. They've got no leader with enough credibility, enough charisma to carpe diem to seize the day and lead the Democrats into the next election. I mean, the Democrat Party seems like a chicken with its head cut off. I got a bunch of really interesting things to show you guys that I think all kind of helps build this point. But before we get into any of it, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's first play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by Ground News.
Hey.
What can I say about Ground News other than it's the best news aggregator on the planet? And in my view, it's one of the most important tools that you can have right now in this information war. And here's exactly why. The media picks and chooses which stories you even get to hear about, and Ground News cuts through the selective coverage, and best of all, exposes that bias in real time with their incredible blind spot tool. Let me show you the perfect example. You know, the left really thought they had something with the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. Well, I guess here's the reality check. Just 12% found the Sydney Sweeney ad campaign offensive. And that's some pretty useful information, but it's also information that just simply isn't getting to the left because left-wing outlets are not covering it. And that's what the Ground News blind spot tool does. It basically shows you the story that the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. Well, that and so much more. It's just a fantastic website, folks. And if you guys are as sick as I am of being spoon-fed the half-truth from these fake news stories, well, then you gotta get Ground News in your arsenal. And obviously, here's the pitch if you guys are interested. We've teamed up with Ground News to give you guys an exclusive offer. Simply scan the QR code on screen or go to the link down below in the description. That's ground.news/hivemind, and you'll get access to 40% off their Vantage plan, which is their top premium subscription tier. What are you waiting for? We're in an information war, and you simply gotta have the weapons in your arsenal. And Ground News' blind spot tool, I mean, boy, is that a weapon. All right, folks, so Kamala Harris.
Speaking of Ground News, there was this one, I saw this clip. It was quite fascinating, of like a mayor telling a Christian that his people weren't welcome here in Michigan. And I just looked that up in Ground News just to see. And it says Dearborn mayor's not welcome rebuke goes viral after clashing over Ceblani street signs. And it's so funny because a majority of the coverage is all from the right. It's like 94% right to like 6% left. It's quite, I just found that very interesting because I saw that clip, and then the only thing that pops up when I look for it on like the internet is Yahoo and Fox and MSN. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I thought I'd quickly look at it just to see how many people are actually covering that on Ground News. And it's all predominantly quote unquote right-wing news outlets. But if you were to look at the thing, if you were to look it up, it's like I said, the headline is Dearborn mayor's not welcome rebuke goes viral after clashing with Ceblani over Ceblani street signs. It says the 5 main bullet points. Sorry if there's a little sidetrack. It's just that he talked about Ground News, and I just thought, I was like, oh, let me look this up on Ground News real quick, see what's going on there. But it says Dearborn mayor Abdullah H. Hamoud told resident Edward Barham he was not welcome after Barham opposed street signs honoring Osama Ceblani in September 2025. The controversy arose because Wayne County, not the city, decided in August 2025 to honor Ceblani, a publisher with a history of pro-Hezbollah and pro-Hamas statements. At a city council hearing, Barham cautioned that naming street signs after Ceblani was provocative and likened it to naming roads Hezbollah Street or Hamas Street, while council members condemned his personal attacks. It says right here, Mayor Hamoud called Barham a bigot, a racist, and Islamophobe, advising him to close his eyes while driving on Warren Avenue, a county road where the signs were placed. The event sparked backlash with conservatives and critiques opposing the street naming, and questioned whether elected officials listened to residents at all, implying heightened cultural tension in Dearborn. Which is very funny. It doesn't even touch on the fact that he quite literally said, you're not welcome here and your people aren't welcome here, knowing that he was a Christian. Here it is from the Gateway Pundit. This is still on Ground News. I'm just scrolling through, and it says, a heated confrontation unfolded at Dearborn City Council meeting when Mayor Abdul Hamoud told Christian resident Edward Ted Barham that although he lives in the city, he was not welcome here. The clash arose from Barham objecting the streets sign honoring Osama Ceblani, publisher of the Arab American News, who has faced long-standing accusations of supporting or praising Hamas and Hezbollah. Like, it's just insane what's going on in our own cities. Let's see, is this gonna load? Probably not. Anyways, I just wanted to look that up quickly on Ground News. I just thought it was funny, and it's something that I saw earlier, and I wanted to see which side was covering it primarily, whether it was the left, the right, or the center. And those bullet points I read off are from the center. So yeah, just a little thing I want to see on ground news real quick. He says it was probably like 3 minutes. But yeah, let's get back into it.
Harris was supposed to be the next big thing, the shatterer of. Is that a
Oof.
weapon? All right, folks. So Kamala Harris was supposed to be the next big thing, the shatterer of glass ceilings. Never mind the devastating loss in 2024. It wasn't her fault, as Mark Cuban lectures us.
When I was campaigning with Kamala, her biggest problem was her campaign would not let her sell. She's not a bad salesperson when you talk to her one-on-one, and she's smart, she's driven.
We quite literally saw 60 Minutes have to edit their thing because she quite literally couldn't sell herself. Like how stupid do you have to be to say that shit?
But they did everything as if it was all driven by a consultant, which it was. And you can't be that way in a world with Donald Trump.
The issue wasn't Kamala Harris's absolute sheer incompetence and constant low IQ displays. No, the issue was her staff and the consultants. Well, it's an interesting notion, but
And he also blames Trump, which is such a fucking joke. Like, bro, get over it, man.
I'm not sure the markets agree. Friends, Kamala Harris has fallen like a rock. And this little point of data might be the most embarrassing moment yet. This is the de facto Democrat leader right now. The betting markets, Polymarket, now have Donald Trump, who is technically, constitutionally ineligible to run. They have him polling higher for 2028 than Kamala Harris. Just think about that. A man who can't legally run, at least as we understand right now, according to the markets, has a higher probability than supposedly the most qualified person to ever run for office. At least that's what they told.
I wonder who yellow and red is. This is probably if I had to guess, make an educated guess, this is probably based off of what I'm seeing right now with the current fucking way things are. This one's probably Vance, and this is probably Newscom.
Told us in 2024. Holy freaking moly, I mean, talk about a nosedive. And I guess it explains why the DNC pulled the plug on her. She got the call from her bosses, it's over. But of course, as we know, like in any cartel, when one criminal overlord dies or is arrested, it creates a power vacuum for the next scumbag to try to jump in, to try to fill that void. And so who do we have now? We got Gavin Newsom, who continues to prove that he is exactly what we describe him as, a cringy, disingenuous, low 30s favorability loser. I mean, this is the guy that Democrats really think is going to lead them to victory in 2028.
I'm absolutely
2028.
You've seen it. He tried to steal the last election. He's trying to rig it in plain sight.
How exactly did he steal the last election? It was a massive red landslide. How? Like, bro, it's so funny how they go from, oh, you have to accept the results, it wasn't rigged, nothing about it was rigged when Biden won, to it was rigged, Trump rigged, the only way he could win is by cheating, he obviously cheated, he rigged the election. Like, bro. And what's even funnier is they ran with this exact same narrative back in 2016 when he won. When he won then, they said that it was rigged, that he cheated, that he had outside help, hackers hacked the polls and changed the numbers. But when he said that it was rigged in 2020, it was met with, oh, just accept the results. You lost fair and square. It wasn't rigged. Now that he's won again, it's like, no, it's rigged. It's rigged. He clearly rigged. It's like, bro, make up your fucking mind. Like, dude, just make up your mind already. Was it rigged or was it a fair election?
This absolute clown who is clearly acting, he obviously doesn't believe the words that he's saying. Donald Trump is gonna end democracy by 2028. You know, sure, Gavin Newsom is from California, but I'll tell you, this guy's got no freaking Hollywood in him. I mean, such obvious bad acting. And then during that same event, he went on to claim that world leaders were mocking Donald Trump behind his back.
I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of foreign leaders. I've had a chance.
What's the general?
You mean just China? I didn't realize China's president constituted as a multitude of foreign leaders. The only time he's able to actually clean up California when China is coming to visit, then the moment they leave, he'll let it go to shit.
They're laughing behind his back. That did not happen. I'm making this clear.
They're
do not conflate what I just said with the meeting I had with the Denmark delegation.
It wasn't them. Other foreign leaders are laughing.
I've had dozens and dozens. Ambassadors, met with them.
What are they saying?
They're laughing behind his back.
Yet he can't quote
everywhere.
Yet he can't recite what he's, I mean, he's being played somewhere, you know. I'm not going to say where, but he's definitely being played, sending a shit ton of money to a certain country, you know, billions of dollars when he promised an America first policy. He hasn't been adhering to that America first policy, that's all I'm gonna say.
It's an embarrassment.
But yeah, like, dude, I like how he says that all these foreign nationals are laughing at him, yet he can't really quote when this dude over here, the interviewer, asks for a quote. All he can say is that they're just laughing at him behind his back. He can't even quote them. Can't even cite anything.
He's laughing at Donald Trump. He's being played. Yeah, okay, sure, bud. This guy's obviously such a lying, disingenuous hack. It's unbelievable. As if Donald Trump is being played. Trump's locking in the most beneficial trade agreements in modern American history. And this guy has the audacity to make the claim that he made. Give me a frickin' break. And even if it's true, who frickin' cares? I mean, we remember the last time world leaders laughed at President Trump. We all remember the infamous moment where Germany's UN delegation laughed in President Trump's face. Well, who got the last laugh there? The Democrats are in a moment of crisis. They've done everything to stifle democracy in their party, and here they are just endlessly recycling the same no-talent hacks over and over again, expecting things to magically change. All of a sudden, Gavin Newsom's going to become popular. Never going to happen. I mean, the guy that they're shilling, the guy that they're pushing, as we covered yesterday, is polling lower than someone else in early Democrat primary polling numbers.
Yeah,
and here he is, soaking up all the oxygen in the room. It's a complete farce. And everything they're doing is obviously cringy and most importantly dishonest. You know, Gavin Newsom during that same event also made the claim that Donald Trump is wrecking the country.
I'm not going to submit myself to niceties. Not when this guy's trying to wreck our goddamn country.
It's so clearly fake and performative, and I'm sitting here questioning, I mean, who actually believes this stuff?
The issue is he doesn't cite anything. If he actually cited something, he might seem more believable, but he doesn't. Like, if for example, if you were to cite that bill that Trump tried to pass, where if you boycotted Israeli companies, that your state wouldn't get any type of federal funding for disaster reliefs, for natural disaster reliefs, maybe then people might take him a little bit more seriously. But no, instead, he just says shit and he doesn't like back it up with anything, which makes him look like an even bigger dumbass. And it doesn't help that he's running California into the ground as well. Like, bro, what?
Especially with these kind of reports coming in.
3% was our last look. It now jumps up to 3.3%. But from a comp basis, that would still be the best quarter since September of 23, third quarter of 23. Consumption, always important in a consumption economy. It remains strong. 1.4 our first look, 1.6 our modified look. 1.6 would be the best consumption since the last quarter of 24 when it was well above. It was at 4%. Now, the pricing index, and maybe this has more relevance considering all the issues of the day the press is on with the Fed, well, it remains at 2%. No changes there.
Donald Trump's destroying the country. How many times have we heard them claim that he's bringing the American economy down? Well, I don't know. Quarter two GDP being revised up to 3.3% and inflation being revised down to 2%, exactly at the Fed's target. We got markets pumping, global trade deals being made, and now crime is falling under federal crackdowns, not to mention the success that he had on the southern border. This is the guy that's destroying the country? Give me a break. Obviously, Democrats are stuck in this very awkward position where they simply cannot operate in reality. They cannot operate on the truth. No, they just have to continuously feed the leftist grievance monster. And actually, speaking of that, I got some really interesting data I want to show you guys. Take a look at this. Here's a Gallup poll that's showing the widest partisan gap in modern American history. We got a survey that covered American satisfaction with the United States by party identification. Republicans answered that they're 76% satisfied, with Democrat respondents clocking in at 0%, the lowest ever. You got a booming economy, you got things going well. I think you can only describe it as the revitalization of America. And every single Democrat is miserable and refuses to accept any of it. It's a grievance monster. This is a very clear phenomenon, and obviously, this is exactly what Gavin Newsom is trying to take advantage of.
Wake up, everybody. Wake up.
Let me ask you about a couple.
And I know it's impolite. We have to be more calm and demure.
Couple of your
but I'm not calm.
Obviously, Gavin Newsom has realized this. He's realized the Democrat base is miserable and just wants their miserable confirmation bias confirmed over and over again, confirmed endlessly, and so he feeds them the delusion. It's the perfect situation for a sociopathic narcissist to take advantage of. And well, that seems to be exactly what's happening. You know, that's the state of the Democrat.
Like, bro, like, oh my god, dude. I don't understand how he thinks he could run for presidency and how he thinks that he'll essentially do a good job when he quite literally isn't even doing a good job here in California. Like, shit. You have criminals being able to go into to malls and just immediately start stealing everything. You have cops not being able to arrest these individuals. Why? Because they're misdemeanors and they don't want to deal with the fact that they're misdemeanors. You have like literally the last video, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was a Cash Jordan video we reacted to, where they, in Compton, they kept raiding this little fucking gas station market. And they raided it. First, it was like 3 individuals, noticed that nothing was going to happen to them. Then they just went in droves and started stealing fucking everything. It's just like, it's so insane, man. But yeah, he thinks he'll be able to fix this country, Can't even fix the crime in California.
Party. This is what they're left with. Kamala Harris, who's totally dead weight. I mean, literally less electable than a man who can't even legally run. And now in comes Gavin Newsom, their replacement plan. Obviously, he's not any better. In fact, he might even be worse. You know, Democrats seem to be in quite the predicament. And while they've got a couple years to find a solution, I don't think Gavin Newsom is that solution. But knowing how the Democrat machine generally operates, obviously, any actual grassroots talent is going to be totally suppressed, and so I think Gavin Newsom is what they're going to be forced with, just like they were forced with Kamala in 2024, just like they were forced with Joe Biden in 2020, and just like they were forced Hillary Clinton in 2016. There's a void of leadership in the party, and the establishment is filling that void, and well, we know how that generally ends, and now just imagine how it's going to end.
It's just going to go very poorly for them, genuinely. It's going to go very poorly for them, and we're probably going to get another 4 years of red. Now, the real question is what happens during those extra 4 years of red.
Democrats are in the weakest position they've been in decades. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
But yeah, funny that we just saw this one. But yeah, it's just genuinely like ridiculous if you ask me. Like, honestly, I don't get it. How he thinks he's gonna win. But yeah, like that whole thing with that I said with like, since we talked about ground news, you could also quite literally look it up. Granted, this is 2 months ago, but it's literally US links 1.9 billion in state disaster funds to Israel boycott stance. And it's quite insane because a majority of the headlines are states that shun Israeli firms risk losing FEMA disaster funds. Then you have one, FEMA denies reports it blocked states that boycott Israel from 1.9 in its grant. Guess who wrote that one? And then you have DHS, FEMA funding not tied to Israel stance. US, no disaster aid to states critical of Israel. These are all from the right and right-leaning, which is insane. DHS scrambles to fix MAGA rage over threat to withhold disaster funds to states that won't do business with Israel. It's like, if he included some shit like that as an example of how he might be running this country into the ground, then yeah, maybe, just maybe, people might believe him, but he doesn't. Instead, what does he do? He just goes with whatever he wants. He just says shit without actually, doing anything. Without actually citing anything that might help him out. And it's just fucking so stupid. Like, he just plays this in such a stupid way. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube jizz. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Later.